What up everybody, Adrian here, back with another article about the Eternals, and they're putting some more spin on it on why it's not gonna get a sequel. Now it says here, Marvel producer says a sequel isn't necessary. Now right away, this is bullshit, okay? The movie's doing terrible before it's even coming out in theaters. Here is the Rotten Tomatoes score currently right now, 57%, and it's gonna go even lower, especially when the audience gets to see it and they get to put their reviews on there. But in this article, they're trying to spin and say, I mean, it could get a sequel, but you don't really need a sequel. Here's why I think it's bullshit and it's all spin. Every movie that comes out, they want to make it a trilogy. At least give it a sequel. Look at with Dune. Dune had a very diverse cast, but it didn't push its left-wing agenda. It's already greenlit another sequel. And in fact, if the sequel does good, they're gonna give it a third movie. Even now with Ghostbusters. Originally, when that first reboot disaster Ghostbusters came out with all the females, yeah, that was supposed to be a trilogy. But then years later, they finally made a sequel, and if this one does good, it's gonna be another movie. So don't believe this article when it's trying to say, oh, the Eternals doesn't really need a sequel. In fact, the Eternals was supposed to take over the Avengers. This was supposed to be their new, more diverse, more LGBT focused Avengers and be the new phase of the MCU. There was supposed to be a trilogy, and I bet you there was going to be multiple spin-offs, a few series on HBO Max, and many of the side characters were supposed to get their spin-offs and get their trilogy movies. So the article says many people would assume that any Marvel studio would be peppered for sequels. Yeah, no shit. But Marvel producer Nate Moore says their upcoming release Eternals doesn't necessarily require a sequel. And he said, while it's not out of the question, it's not something that is 100% guaranteed. He says, quote, it's not something that is a must-have. I bet you wouldn't be saying that if it wasn't 57% on Rotten Tomatoes. Obviously, we have ideas of where we could go, but there isn't a hard and fast rule where we have to have 3 of these things, and this is the first. Remember when they rebooted Terminator for the 15th time, and that was supposed to be another trilogy restarting of the franchise? Remember Chris Pratt, The Tomorrow War, when that came out of nowhere, and it actually did good because it wasn't a reboot, remake, or an old franchise that they brought back old characters as a gimmick. It was something new. It wasn't the greatest film, but the fact that it was new, it got a freaking sequel. So don't tell me that the Eternals was not supposed to get a trilogy. At least get a sequel. So it says a lot is riding on the Eternals because many feel it's the MCU's riskiest gamble, and it was only back in September that the industry wondered if the film would get an exclusive theatrical release or go day to date with a streaming release, as well as they did with Black Widow. After the success of Shang-Chi, yeah, that was a success. Another spin. But as more critical reviews have come out, the film has officially gone rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. Like I said, currently at 57% rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm sure Marvel is hoping for plans to expand the universe with a sequel, but we will have to wait and see how moviegoers respond to the film, and it won't be good. This is just more damage control. Of course they wanted a sequel, they wanted a trilogy, they wanted spin-offs, all that, but it looks like they're not gonna get it. But let me know what you think of this article. Until next time, thanks for watching. See you next video.